Hello and welcome back to the Footballing Question podcast. I am back hosting this week with Ashley and Jordan as always. But to get us started this week, I'm going to ask you a question. What, in your opinion, is the hardest position in football?
I think there's two obvious answers for me. Centre mid and fullback. Now fullback gets overlooked a lot because in Sunday League, if you're rubbish, they just slap you in left back or right back, okay? That's just how it works. But left back at a high level or right back at a high level takes a lot of stamina, a lot of speed, and it's just the constantness of having to defend and having to attack. I know nearly every player has to do that, but just bombing up and down that wing is just almost impossible. And on top of that, the centre mid not only has to be there for his fullback, but he has to just contribute to the whole game constantly, non-stop. So it's got to be them. I just think it's harder if you have to do more running.
Fair enough. I've not gone for either of those. Okay. I've actually gone for goalkeeper. I think goalkeeper's difficult, not only from an on-the-pitch standpoint, but off-the-pitch standpoint as well, because you are to blame for a lot.
Yes.
You don't go... There's not very often you go, the fullbacks to blame or the centre mids to blame. You're more inclined to go, what's the goalkeeper doing there, than you are anything else most of the time. I think from a mental standpoint, being a goalkeeper is definitely the hardest position to be on the pitch. I mean, you look at like Karius. I think Karius that season was all right.
He was a good keeper.
But then he had one game and it's destroyed his career.
Exactly. I think goalkeeper has to be the hardest position.
You say that, sorry, can I just try?
Yeah.
I know it's not a debate, but can I argue that just a minute? Because you said that, goalkeepers make one mistake and all the blame's on them, the game's over, right? Yeah. I think that is just the nature of the game because
the thing is, if you make a mistake in midfield, it's not always going to lead into a goal. You can lose the ball and it not be brought up ever again. But if a goalkeeper makes one mistake, 9 times out of 10, it's in the back of their net.
That applies to a defender as well. Like nearly
not as much. When you're standing 1 foot off your goal line, that mistake is going to go that way.
There's one position I hope you don't take.
A goalkeeper can get a mistake and make a mistake, and guess what? There's someone still who can get them out of jail. The goalkeeper has no one to get them out of jail.
Yeah. Who are you going with?
I was going to go goalkeeper. It's a debate, so we can kind of say the same things, but like the same kind of reasons. I think as a whole, you grow up and you don't want to be a goalkeeper. Everyone kind of disrespects the position. And now you see more goalkeepers coming forward in the media, and you can kind of see it's a mentally straining position to play in. You're alone, kind of. You're part of the team, but you're limited to your box. And right, if I cock up this week, we're going to lose. You've got to be on your A game week in, week out. Yeah. And people always say the start of, a big side is getting your goalkeeper right. And, that shows how crucial a position it is and how difficult a position it is to play in. We talk about like Nick Pope being the best goalkeeper this season in the Premier League, or maybe one of, and he's still not got like a complete game, because, he's not great distribution. And with the distribution, in the way modern football's going, it's becoming an even harder position. Because not only have you got to be making save after save and, commanding your back four, but also you've got to be contributing to the attack now, which makes it, even more important a position. So I'd agree with you, John. I think it's the hardest position. We can now move on and we're going to go into the results on the weekend. We're going to quickly discuss some and then maybe lean in heavier on probably what happened on Sunday. Now, let's start off. There was obviously a couple games called off for the Carabao Cup final, which we will get into. I bet Jordan's itching to get into that. But first of all, we're going to discuss the games which were crucial for the title race and the relegation battle. Both top two won on the weekend. City had Bournemouth away, expected to win it. I'm not going to go into too much. City scored 4. I don't think anyone was expecting anything other than that. I was hoping for something similar to Forest, but they weren't going to do the same thing twice. They won comfortably, 4 goals. City at back, pretty much. They want to try and get a run. And it's yet to be seen whether they'll do that, but that's it. Arsenal winning 1-0 away at Leicester. They got a goal chalked off. And it was a good win, a dominant win.
As usual, plenty of controversial decisions. And what was nice about that game was I think Martinelli really took charge of his role as well. I think sometimes he looks a little bit just like on his own, maybe a little bit like I know he's not too. We're not too confident in him maybe sometimes because he is young, and you think maybe he's not going to carry us forward. But he did well today to get that goal. I really enjoyed seeing Trossard up front.
Yeah.
Actually, I really liked that. Mikel Arteta isn't just set on playing Eddie Nketiah up front because he has been struggling in certain weeks, and a manager that's going to win the Premier League knows how to notice these kind of things and how to change that. But what did you think of the game?
I thought, we probably should have maybe gone for it a bit more. It wasn't a great attacking display, but defensively it was superb.
They only had one shot.
Well, yeah, we restricted Leicester to one shot. Maybe that's part of their fault. It shows they can't really function without Maddison, and we took advantage of it. I wish we could have scored more. Obviously, we did technically score 2, but one was disallowed. And my opinion on the goal is, I understand why it's been disallowed, but if you're disallowing something for a soft foul like that, you should be giving us a penalty 2 minutes later for Saka's foul in the box, which wasn't given. We should have had a penalty. We weren't. Both decisions can't exist in the same match. Either neither are a foul or both are. That's my opinion on that. But Arsenal still got the win, so I won't moan about it too much. But as I said, referees make mistakes week in, week out, and it's not just. I don't say this is an Arsenal problem. This is a refereeing problem. I don't want it to cut. If it costs another team, that's what's going to happen. But Arsenal still got the win. Martinelli with a good goal. He struggled in the first half, but still, Arsenal keep that 2-point lead, and now have a chance on Wednesday to make it a 5-point lead with their game in hand against Everton. That's the title race summed up for this weekend. But it was a big weekend at the bottom of the table because a lot of them were playing each other. You've got Leeds playing Southampton with their new manager, Javi Gracia, and then you've got West Ham playing Forest, and Everton playing Villa. Villa aren't exactly down there, but a bad result or two, they could fall into it. And Everton, unfortunately, got their first home loss under Dyche, losing 2-0 with 2 second half goals, losing 2-0 at home to Villa. That's not a great result for them. They were just starting to pick up form, and it's a bad loss. But hopefully, still they need to pick up results, but they're still not out of the bottom 3 yet.
What's really exciting about this season, and maybe it's a little bit cruel from me, but one big team is going to go down, or maybe 2 big teams. And we haven't really seen that in a while. It's always been the promoted teams, apart from that season where Brighton and Wolves and I think it was Huddersfield came up as well. No, Brighton, Newcastle and Huddersfield came up, and they all stayed up. Apart from that season, I don't think we've really seen that in a while.
No.
It's quite exciting because as much as Everton are a big club and you want them to be, be successful, I kind of just don't because they annoyed me earlier on this season. So if they get relegated, I will be happy. And it'd just be quite nice to see, a Leeds or West Ham go down again or something like that, and just see that revolution.
You mentioned Leeds, but they've got their new manager and he got them a good result, winning at home to Southampton, something which Chelsea couldn't do last week. You just thought Southampton maybe getting that big result would push on. The answer's no. Couldn't win at Ellen Road.
Right.
And Leeds getting a bit of distance from the bottom 3, and Southampton are just sinking further and further. And for me, looking at Southampton, I just don't see a way out of it for them. I think they are just down and out for me.
Southampton are screwed.
It's safe to say someone is signing James Ward-Prowse for about 10 million in the summer.
I said this to our housemate, right? I think you two should both be praying that West Ham go down. Praying. Do you know what the biggest transfer from Championship to Premier League after a team gets relegated is?
What?
40 million.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If West Ham went down, the discount on Declan Rice is the obvious player we're talking about. The discount on Declan Rice would be decent because they need imminent money. They can't be haggling. They've got to just take the best offer they can get. And considering Arsenal are the best suitors at the moment, considering they've asked for around 80 to 100, 70 if they went down would give it. But
it's going right down.
However, doesn't know they might go down because they actually got a very good result on the weekend. 4 second half goals, 4-0 win against Forest, came at the right time. If they lost it, I think Moyes would have been gone.
Yeah.
So, he's, cashed in a 4-0 win at the right time because 4 goals, fans bouncing. It's exactly what you need to get them back on side. And Danny Ings also scoring his first goals for West Ham as well. The man we mentioned earlier, Declan Rice, getting on the score sheet. It is kind of perfect for West Ham because it kind of quiets them up a little bit and gives Moyes something to build on. And, it's a big weekend, like I said, at the bottom 3, because now Forest, with that loss, we thought they were out of it. But, there's so many points available and there's not that much that separates the bottom, 8. So...
Well, and it's weird to even think about this, but Crystal Palace, they are actually in with a shout of getting relegated. And it's weird to see, because 27 points at this point of the season, you will probably be okay. by the end of it, but you know, it's the bottom 8 at the moment. Yeah, and bottom 9 at the moment that are sorry, maths.
Well,
looks terrific.
you said about Aston Villa, if they don't get a few, if they drop a few points, they could be in it. Chelsea on the same amount of points, and we'll get on to Chelsea in a bit. But
We will get on to Chelsea.
Absolutely mental. I mean, between the bottom 9, there's 13 points. Like it is very tight, and things could just flip, just like that. I just hope we get to see a little bit of a stir up, as I said before.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I think that's all on Saturday's games, but let's talk about Sunday. First of all, I need to talk about the elephant in the room. Jordan, you've got the room. Man United have won their first trophy since 2017. How does it feel?
it was great. It was so good. Going into it, you know, I've heard a lot of talking, especially from one person specifically that's sitting over there, about how Loris Karius was coming in, and you know it's in the script.
You understand why I think that, 'cause it's like the perfect chance for him to prove himself.
Did you see him in the warm up?
No. Oh no, I saw
was
that video.
dreadful.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was absolutely dreadful. But you know what? Fair play to him. He put on a fairly okay performance.
He played the match.
Yeah, he played the match, and he did make some good saves, to be fair. Vegos had a shot from outside the box, and he pulled off a wonderful save. So there's that. But you know, going into the game itself, I thought we were going to win. I genuinely believed that, and you know, I did. But believe it or not, I did predict 2-0 before the game. Believe it or not, I think our play going forward is just, it's so unbelievable what's changed in what seems like quite a short space of time. We look a completely different side to last season. You know, the players that we have, you know, there was Casemiro scored, and just the passion from him and all the other players, and not just the passion from scoring goals, it's the passion when Martinez and Varane are throwing themselves to block shots and blocking the shots, and then the whole team celebrates together. Just, there is a different mentality at Manchester United now than ever before. Newcastle will obviously be disappointed, but you know, at the end of the day, if you don't score goals, you don't win games, and that's how it is. I think Man United deserve to win in the grand scheme of things, and you know, things are only looking up from here. You know, I genuinely can see us potentially winning another trophy this season, if not really pushing on next season. And if we're not in the title race this season, which I don't think we are, I think we can almost guarantee we will be next season, with some great signings, which I'm expecting, to be honest.
We do need to watch out for Manchester United.
Yeah,
they are starting to build.
I'll admit, from our perspective, I am worried about Man United. You know, I remember going into our game in January. Genuinely, if you beat us on that game, it would have put a massive dent in our title charge, and you would have definitely have been in the conversation after just beating City. And I think you're so close now that, you know, with reinforcements in the summer, with this little boost of confidence with the League Cup, you can push on. And you know, it's ended the whole 5-6 years without a trophy now.
Mm-hmm.
That now you can. That's kind of out of your heads.
One thing you need to be careful of, though, and it is that thing, I feel like I talk about it every week, maybe just to wind you up sometimes, but it's like, you know, you get top 4, you win a trophy and everything's happy, and then you fall back and you're 7th, and then you rebuild and you're in 4th, and the cycle repeats itself. But this is the most promising that I've seen, that you will break that curse at the moment. Like, the other thing that I think is so promising about your team now is that you've got personalities in there, like Martinez, like Casemiro, and like Fernandes is just like, he's a quality player, realistically.
He is. He's world class.
To guide, he is the perfect man to guide that team, because he just knows what he's doing. He never looks unconfident. He always just looks like he knows how to create an attack. He's a quality player.
Yeah. I think genuinely, I think Bruno Fernandes is one of the most underrated players in the league right now.
Yeah. I think the issue is that he's a very Man United player, and I don't want to swear on this, but actually, can I? He's just a bit of a shithouse, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but
his personality, but he does drag Man United through the mud at times.
Like he's honestly so good. You just look at some of the passes that he's putting through, and you think, how on earth has that managed to get through? It's just he is absolutely brilliant, and he really is a true leader. And you know what? I was actually quite happy to see that when they actually did the trophy lift, it was Maguire and Fernandes together. Fernandes, apparently they'd agreed on it like before the game. If they were to win, that's what they would do, because obviously Fernandes has captained us most of this season, and obviously Harry Maguire technically is still the club captain, and he has played in some of the games. So I was happy to see that. And you know, I think the one thing that's really telling is, you know, we lifted the trophy. There was obviously celebrations, but the roar when Erik ten Hag got given the trophy was just, there was different levels to it. You know, in his press conference afterwards as well, I don't know if you've seen it, he actually almost forgot to take the trophy back into the dressing room and went, to be honest, I don't really need that one. We'll get another one soon. And, you know, like there's something about him.
He knows what to say.
Like, there was a video as well of him, Martinez and Anthony just dancing on the side of the pitch. It was just,
Did you see Roy Keane's reaction to that as well? So they were pitchside doing their usual presenting and stuff, and they got Ten Hag to come over, and they got everyone to look at the dancing video, and Roy Keane just goes, "You should resign right now." And it's such a good video. Obviously he was joking, but like you can tell that Man United are somewhat back, and there's some kind of a rejob.
There's a good, for the first time in a while, I feel there is just a good feeling around Man United. There's nothing really cloudy in the background. And I
also, just quickly, every time I go on Twitter and Man United are playing, I don't know if you've seen this account, and I think he does it to wind people up, but every single time he tweets out, "Yep, nothing, Man United won again," and not a single peep from the Glazer out brigade. They don't care, they only see it when they're losing. Literally, Sky Sports, 18th minute, Manchester United fans burst out into Glazers out chances.
Yeah. Then you go 1-0 up.
You still want them out, and which is something that I think we've kind of forgotten.
Well, no, to be fair, I think they are getting them out. I think that's probably an expectation for why the chants are stopping.
No, they're not stopping. Like that, genuinely,
they're not stopping. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, it was hilarious because Avram Glazer was there.
Yeah.
He was in the stands during the game, and he has to sit there and listen to our fans chanting Glazers out, have banners, Glazers out, Glazers out. 88th minute, we were chanting Glazers out. You know, to say that it stops is ridiculous, because it doesn't. It really, really doesn't.
I mean, we just need to wait and see what happens with the takeovers, because we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
It's going to take a couple of weeks until we see.
There's a rumour going around now that the Glazers want to stay.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, we saw what happened with Liverpool. They put their club up for sale. Then Liverpool got a win against Newcastle. They went, "Oh, we might be back. We're not going to sell you anymore." So now you've got a trophy under the Glazers. They're going to go, "Well, we've won you a trophy."
Yeah, but we had plenty of trophies under the Glazers anyway.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah. But I think we can stop talking about the League Cup final. And finally, this is going to lead into our discussion. We need to talk about what happened when Chelsea took on Tottenham. A 2-0 loss. They seem to beat Tottenham every year. I saw this previews from Tottenham and Chelsea fans, and Tottenham fans were saying how they lose every year to Chelsea. It's a guaranteed loss. And well, for the first season in a while, Chelsea have not beaten Tottenham in any competition. 4 points from a possible 6, a 2-0 loss away from home. And to put the icing on the cake, they've conceded to Oliver Skip.
Oliver Skip. First ever goal for Spurs.
First goal for Spurs.
And what a goal it was.
I mean, if you're going to score your first goal, scoring it at home in a London derby in that style is kind of how you'd want it to go.
Exactly.
And, I mean, from the Tottenham perspective, it's a great win. They're, taking advantage of Newcastle not playing. And I'm not going to lie, I do look at Newcastle right now, and I do think their top 4 hopes are really slipping away, because they've drawn so many games in the space of a month. It just felt like they were drawing 0-0 every week. And
I think they've scored some of the since November. There's this stats, and Newcastle have scored some of the least amount of goals as well. So it's getting a little bit troubling for them. But back to Tottenham, it's weird that, as you said, Chelsea have gone away to Tottenham, and Tottenham have actually looked convincing for once. I mean, fair play to them. I want them to lose every weekend, but they had a decent win, and it comes very, very intrinsically to Chelsea's downfall at the moment as well.
I mean, if you mention what's happening at Chelsea, a 2-0 loss at Spurs is just damning, because that's the one time their fans this was the perfect chance for Potter. If he wins on the weekend against Spurs, it's a big win against a big rival. That will really give a boost to the fans. And again, it's just not happening for them. and you just got to look at what's happening at that club, and nothing seems right. There's no positive overall feel anywhere. Like none of the, I mean, I've seen Chelsea fans complain about videos of the players walking out at Stamford Bridge because none of them look that excited, none of them look like they care, and it does just feel like no one knows what's actually happening there.
It's horrific for Chelsea at the moment. I mean, 10th in the Premier League, 2 wins in their last 15 games. They've only scored 8 goals. No team in the Premier League has scored fewer goals than them since November. Leeds, in that time, have scored more than double the amount of goals that they have scored. I mean, I'm going to ask you now, lads, right? Just a quick answer. Do you think Graham Potter should be sacked?
Yes.
Take your agenda for Graham Potter away from this, because I think we've all got one. We all quite like him.
Here's the thing: who do they get in?
I don't think that's part of the question.
No.
I think
I would never sack a manager if you don't have one coming in.
I don't know about that, because
I disagree as well.
if it's going wrong,
it's like saying should Man United have sacked Ollie? They didn't have Ralph Rangnick lined up straight away.
Yeah. I look, if they sacked him tomorrow or today, I would completely understand the reasoning behind it. But the thing is, I just feel like the problems are way above Potter.
Yeah, obviously.
Because it's a massive changeover at the club, and I don't think they really know what's happening. I mean, I don't understand how you can spend 300 million on a manager and then a month later sack them, because it just shows this project. They're trying to do what Arsenal are doing, and they are not the right club to try it. They're not a patient club. They're a naturally impatient club. And
they are that. I mean, since they had all their riches in the early 2000s, sacking managers is their only solution to a bad run of games. That's all they've ever done. And it kind of does make sense for Chelsea to sack their managers. Gus Hiddink won the FA Cup after replacing Scolari in 2009. Roberto Di Matteo won the Champions League and FA Cup after they sacked Andre Villas-Boas. And just recently, Thomas Tuchel won the Champions League after Frank Lampard got sacked. So maybe if there was someone lined up, this could be the perfect time for for Ted Bowley to completely revamp his start at Chelsea and get some wins on the board and maybe even win a trophy or two. But for me right now, if it's any other manager, you sack Graham Potter. But as you said, they want to have that thing of sticking by their manager. They want to have that Arteta effect, and they want to just kind of not rush into things and maybe create a new kind of legacy at Chelsea. But I don't think it's the way to go forward if you are just going to buy this new superstar player every 5 minutes. Maybe when things are going wrong, you've got to sack a manager every 5 minutes as well.
Well, you guys, neither of you have said Graham Potter, should he get sacked?
No, yes, I think he should be. If you're a Chelsea fan right now, you just...
Think, if this was Arsenal, would you want him to be sacked?
I still don't know, because I look and I don't think he's the problem. I think he's the figurehead of a bigger problem behind Chelsea. I think Todd Bowley is massively mismanaging the club. It's the first time he's been involved in football, and I think he's finding out that you can't just splash the cash at a problem, and it's given them a bigger problem now, where they've got a massive squad with tons of players. Tons of them haven't played in the Premier League, and that is creating an even bigger issue, because now you're forcing players into the team, and it's a disaster. And then you've got Aubameyang, and for the first time ever, Aubameyang's not being played. It's not his fault. He's done nothing wrong, and I almost feel sorry for him, because what happened at Arsenal happened. But here, he's just being disregarded, and he is genuinely the only out-and-out number 9 at that club, and they can't score a goal.
And there's definitely more out-and-out number 9s than Aubameyang in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he played on the left for most of his games.
I know,
Arsenal, so
but still, he's getting subbed on at 2-0, and you see his face, he's gutted, and it's just a bit like... I just can't understand.
I think the only thing that changes things is that it is Graham Potter. If you are a Chelsea fan and you're looking and you didn't know anything about Graham Potter before he came to Chelsea, bizarrely you didn't know anything, you'd say, he needs to be sacked. However, all us three, it's worth pointing out, we all go to the University of Brighton. Therefore, we kind of followed Brighton quite heavily last season, and we really respected Graham Potter towards the end of his Brighton career, and we all want him to be the next England manager. We want him to replace Southgate. I think that was quite unanimous amongst us three. And what he's done with Ostersands and how he's come through, he was at Swansea before Brighton, wasn't he? And then he is a top quality manager, and he knows how to... I feel like he does know what he's doing, and it is really impressive what he's done. But I think the difference maker at the moment is that he's dealing with something that he hasn't dealt with before. I know throughout his career the clubs have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, but this is on another scale, and you've got these superstars to manage, and you've got all these new players coming in. It's tricky for him.
I've said this before though. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is just because it's Chelsea, but Graham Potter, I don't think he has sort of that sort of big team management in him.
Just because he hasn't done it before.
Not just because he hasn't done it before. I can't.
But that is a factor in that. But
I look at Chelsea now. I just like maybe he could, but I just don't. I don't really know.
he's not installing much confidence at the moment, is he?
No.
However, I just like him, and I'm going to say yes, he should be sacked, but I hope he doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, mate, I think Chelsea will sack him. I wouldn't personally, but if they do sack him, one thing I think it does say is I think it says that the person in charge of transfers isn't the manager, and it is probably Todd Bowley, and I think that in itself would answer a billion, would show that the problem is even bigger, because I think that's a massive misunderstanding of how to manage a football club. You can't go in and spend 200, 300 million in one window and expect all your problems to go away, because all it's done is given them even more. I mean, also they got rid of Jorginho, and you can't. During the window, all I heard from Chelsea fans is there's a problem with their midfield. They sign a midfielder and they sell one. Okay, you still got a problem. You've still got, in the summer, Kante's ageing. He's had a massive injury problem. Same with Kovacic, and it's just they've got too many players now. They've got too many players. And the thing is, they spent that much in January, and still they aren't playing an out-and-out number 9 up front. They signed a young guy in Fofana. If they knew they weren't going to play Aubameyang, why didn't they sign, maybe someone more, to that liking? It's funny because they brought in Felix, who will actually give Aubameyang the service he's needed all season, and they're not really getting minutes together. Havertz, I'm sorry, but I have never rated Havertz for 1 minute.
No, I've rated
and he
Havertz.
starts week in, week out. I think he's awful.
Havertz is a quality player in the Bundesliga, and I know the Premier League is a different kettle of fish, but no, Havertz is a decent player. I don't think he's awful.
I look at him right now, and I just think he's not doing what's required of him. And
I'd still back Mudryk to win the Ballon d'Or though.
Mudryk has looked awful.
Mudryk's looked not really managed to do anything of note as far with Chelsea. And I just look at them and it's just a mess. I don't see a plan. I don't see an end goal. I don't know where they're going, what they're doing, what style of football. What is Chelsea's style of play? What's their identity? Because if you can't answer that, then there's nothing going right at that club. The first thing to do is be, what are we? What are we? And they don't know that. And I think that's a massive problem. That's why they're not scoring goals. That's why they're conceding goals. And it's just, I mean, I feel great about it. But, it's just ludicrous how a club this big is being mismanaged.
Hey, you!
Yeah?
Yes, you!
How did you get in my house?
Do you like YouTube?
Yeah?
Sometimes find it a bit dull?
No, I love YouTube.
Then you should subscribe to the Football in Question YouTube channel.
Why?
They've got podcast clips, original content, and also they have your family hostage.
What?
Like I said, subscribe now!
If you want to see your family again, subscribe now.
Mum?
Moving-
It's Jordan's Fact of the Week. Yes. Jordan's Fact of the Week is back yet again. We're getting through Jordan's Fact of the Week. Like we've had some very good facts over the last while. But yet again, I am back with Jordan's Fact of the Week with another very good fact, in my opinion. Bit of a short one this time though. Did you know that despite making his debut for Brazil at the age of 20, Marcelo has never played in Copa America? Ever.
That's actually impressive.
He has never played a game in Copa America.
Wow.
Oh, and as soon as he retires, they bloody win it.
Yeah. So that is Jordan's Fact of the Week.
It is time to talk about our debate, and the debate this week is what is the best save of all time? Any save by any goalkeeper in any match of all time, pick your save. Whoever wants the floor.
I've picked mine. It is Marc-Andre ter Stegen against Bayern Munich in 2015. Are you aware of it? Does it come to mind?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I will get it up on the YouTube.
I know that was the year Barca won it.
Bayern Munich bearing down on goal. It's a huge occasion in the Champions League. This ball somehow gets through to Lewandowski, point blank range, pulls off a great save and then has to rush back to his goal line to clear it off the line. Look at that, he's going the other way, stretches his arm out and then has to rush back and just about catches it on the line. There's 2 in there. Maybe I've cheated a little bit, but I think this is a terrific save.
Undeniably a good save. Jordan?
I have gone for Iker Casillas. And, you know, world-class goalkeeper, plenty of saves come to mind. But this one in particular, 2009 against Sevilla, it's just world-class. I will show you guys what's going on here. So obviously Sevilla running down the right-hand side, ball comes across and he has to dive the length of the goal to stop the ball going in for, I'd argue, what is a certain goal in that scenario. And it's the fact that he has to go across the entire goal in order to get there. I think if any goalkeeper has to do that, it's world class. I think Casillas has pulled off arguably one of the best possible examples of that, and that's why he's my pick.
He does really well to get across there.
Yeah.
To be
Undeniably, both good saves. I think mine may be the best. I'm going for David Seaman's save against Sheffield United in the FA Cup semi-final. I think this one is absolutely superb. 2003, obviously set your minds back, we're all one. Or I wouldn't have been one yet. FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford. I think my dad was there, actually. Arsenal win the game 1-0, so one goal could have swung it. And it's against Paul Pescaslido. I think I pronounced that right.
Let's see it.
Let's see it, okay. So it's whipped in, one header, another header. Oh, he claws it on the line against his own momentum.
It's almost like he's playing volleyball. Like
yeah, he's got an open goal, and against most keepers that should be a goal, and he's already moving one way, and he's moved himself back.
Show Jordan this angle.
It's one header, flicked volley there.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, he's off balance. He's off balance, and he's clawed it, and it's almost perfectly on the line. Like he's just clawed it with his fingertips, and I don't know how he managed to get that much power behind it. It's like time stops, and he manages to flick it, despite the momentum going the other way, and you know Arsenal defend it on the line and prevent it from going in.
He has to react really well to that, but I feel like he's given a little bit more time. And with the fact that the striker also...
Do you want to see it in time again?
Yeah,
because it is like dun, dun.
Okay, he has to react quickly. But I think the fact that, I mean, it's a header. The striker is limited to what he's able to do, the power that he's able to get behind it as well. Like when Lewandowski's bearing down a goal at you and you manage to just make that initial first save and then...
In my opinion, in that moment, okay, he's done exactly what a keeper should do, which is spread his arms.
Yeah.
And I think in that moment, you know, he's got the rub of the green, it's hit him in the arm.
Right.
I've seen Kasper Schmeichel make that save against West Ham.
I think yours is. I think all of our goalkeeper saves have definitely happened before. Like it's hard to not recreate a save
in the span of time and history. Yes, probably.
Goalkeeper saves get recreated.
So like, whatever one we're going for, there's probably an example of someone doing the exact same thing. But I think yours, the original save is good, but
it's the fact that he gets back.
Yeah, the getting back is better, and yeah, for me that is a very, very good shout. For mine, it's the fact that he gets right across the entire goal that I love about mine, and with yours, it's obviously against the way he's going.
It's the momentum, and it looks like a short goal.
All of them are world-class saves, in my opinion. I'm stuck for a conclusion.
I do have a conclusion in my head, but I'm not just going to...
This is why Isaacs isn't winning.
This is why Isaacs isn't winning. David Seaman actually cheated. No, he didn't cheat. No, it is difficult, and I'm finding it really hard not to go for yours instantly, because I am a little bit affiliated to that
Take
save.
away the Arsenal bias.
It's still
a very good
It's a good
save.
save. They're all good saves.
It's a really nice save to watch as well. I think perhaps the ugliest to watch
maybe
is
the
yours.
stature, maybe the stature of it as well.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, then again, yours.
This is Champions League.
Yours is Champions League quarters. Mine is.
Yours is a league game.
Yeah.
Which okay, right, maybe we shouldn't apply that too much to them as well. But
okay, yeah, maybe.
I think like perhaps it comes down to what's nicer to watch, what looks more remarkable in the moment. And yours is a terrific save, but I think that yours is the one that isn't as nice to watch as to Steigen running back, having to claw it behind himself, and with Siemens being kind of off balance, the momentum going against him.
I think in terms of the save itself, I think there's more pace on this one
Let's
than
watch
there
it
is
again.
on,
Just one
on
more.
all of them.
Just go
the
from
way the ball comes across, he's on his near post. He has to go across the entire.
Can I see another angle of it?
No, this is a good angle. I've just seen.
Hold on. So
Yeah, go from there.
So obviously, the pace that it comes in, he's on one side of the goal, has to dive to the complete other side of the goal
Can't he just-
in order to make.
can't he just reach there?
I think the player's ruined it because he hits it kind of. If he
And it's a
bad
if he
strike.
opens his foot up,
It's
a goal.
It's from close range. The
Mine's
close
from close range.
That's from closer range though.
I don't think it is. I think they're as close.
I
And
think
mine
that
and
is.
your player and your
I
keeper
think so,
is in the
and-
right position and is going in the right momentum to save it. My player is going like that and he's gone. Oh,
He has a good point.
they're as close range, and
I
mine,
think-
I'd argue, is less probable to save in that scenario. And your player.
I mean, diving across the length of the goal.
but in
I'd
terms of the
argue-
way he's positioned, he is doing everything in his power to get to that ball.
And I think arguably that makes the save better. For a goalkeeper to go full length.
No, because
in order
in that
to stop
moment,
it.
when that player is crossing the ball, he knows where the ball's going, he knows where someone's going to shoot. He's doing everything a keeper is told to do in that scenario. In my scenario, the ball's been headed back, volleyed back. He's doing this, his momentum's going in one way, and in that split second, he's had to react
Seaman has to
to the
improvise.
shot.
Seaman has to improvise a lot more than just.
He has to improvise.
Yeah.
I think what I was trying to say is that Casilla had one job to do at that moment, and that was to get across in that goal. Seaman, first of all, could have dived to his left, then his right, then his left again, and then he finally has to pull off this miraculous
In that moment, he's
jump.
expecting the volley to be a shot, but it's mishit, assisting the header, and that's why he has to flip back, and that's why I think it's a better save.
Okay, fair enough.
With Steigen, I feel like that.
You keep pronouncing it a bit weird. I'm pretty sure it's just Stegen, mate.
I like calling him Steigen. I'm German. No,
You know you're not.
I think Steigen's is a great save, but I feel like I'm going to roll over for Siemens just because. Just because I don't know, I don't see. I'm not too convinced by my own save, if I'm honest. But I still think. Hang on, let me think of my argument here.
Look, at the end of the day, I think it is probably the best one out of the three.
I would also agree. The David Siemens
Okay,
save
so
is the best.
Anyway, that is it with the debate. I win, Seaman wins. Seaman versus Sheffield United is, according to the footballing question, the best save of all time. We've reached the end of the episode and it is now time for the quiz. Of course, as we start any quiz, what are your buzzers?
Bang.
Pow.
Oh my, he's really trying to change the system here.
Why not?
Last week we had
And we've had wow before,
Yeah.
pow now. Okay.
Pow.
Yeah, pow. Okay, so it's time we get into the questions.
If I'm going to lose a quiz, I would at least like it to sound a bit different when I lose.
I'd like to say there's a theme here. There are most of these questions are League Cup related. There is one which is FA Cup related because I just couldn't get that much questions and I had a limit on the amount of time I had to make it. So here, first question. Which team are the record holders of the League Cup?
Pow. Liverpool.
Correct. It's 1-0 Jordan.
nice.
Second question.
Straight.
How many times have Liverpool won it?
Pow. Oh, I'm debating it now.
You said
6?
Incorrect.
Bang.
Oh, I think I know the right answer.
Yeah.
Is it 8?
It is.
It was 8 until last year. They've won it 9 times.
Oh.
I can't lie, 6 of the amount of times.
I was scared you were going to get that. That was going to be a good advantage.
I was like, you're way off.
I thought it was 8, to be fair.
So it's 1-0 with 2 questions gone. Question 3. Despite only having 2 FA Cups to their name, why did Portsmouth retain the trophy for 7 years?
Bang. Because of the World War.
Correct. They were the last team to win. They were the last team to win the FA Cup before World War II. They retained the FA Cup for 7 years. They hold the record for the longest team to retain it. However, no team has won it 3 years in a row. So that's why they've only won it twice. They won it back then. They also won it obviously in 2008. 2008. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
Flying
One,
through the questions.
1-1, 3 questions in. Questions going thick and fast, boys. Now, the League Cup has got many names over time. I want to ask you, back in 2015, what was the name of the cup?
Oh, it was the.
This is for the 14-15 season.
It's a mix between two in my head.
I
think.
I'll tell you the final. The final was between
Makes
Chelsea
no
and Tottenham.
difference. Makes no difference to
No,
me.
it doesn't make a difference.
I think. Bang. I'm pretty sure it was called the Carling Cup, and it was the Capital One Cup before that. Those are the two names that are in my head, and I think it was the Carling Cup. Is that correct?
It was not the Carling Cup. It was the Carling Cup before.
Oh.
Jordan, you've got a chance.
You see, I don't think it is your other one. I don't think it is that.
No, I think Capital One was before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like way before.
Yeah. You see, I'm thinking there was quite a long period where it was just the EFL Cup. So I'm just going to go power the EFL Cup.
Incorrect. It is the Capital One Cup.
Oh, is it?
It was the EFL Cup for 2 seasons, and then Carabao came in. It was the Capital One Cup for 14-15, and then 15-16. 16-17 is when the EFL Cup came. Carling was before.
Oh no.
Carling was when Tottenham won it.
Oh no.
It was the Carling Cup when Tottenham won
Fair
it.
enough.
It was the Capital One Cup in 14-15. Chelsea played Spurs. Chelsea won in the final. Went on to win the league that season with Mourinho.
Bugger.
I thought it was just the EFL Cup for a lot longer than that.
No, it was only like 2 years.
Idiots.
Because they just looked for a sponsor and couldn't
Yeah.
find one. They fell on Carabao.
Oh.
Anyway, so it
They
is
fell on a Carabao.
1-1 with 4 questions gone. Question 5. The biggest score, the record-breaking biggest score in a League Cup final is 5-0, and that took place in 2013. Which team won it in 2013?
Swansea.
Correct.
It was against Bradford.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I was considering that being another question, but
Yeah,
Swansea Bradford 5-0.
Yeah.
Meet you times. What time to be alive?
Well done.
It is 2-1 with 5 questions to go. It's really neck and neck here.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal famously came back to win 7-5 in the joint biggest scoring game overall in the League Cup. Who scored a hat-trick in that game?
Deal Walcott.
Correct.
I had so many answers. I was ready to shoot on.
2-2. I was like, I'm leaving you because I'm going to let your mind spiral like schmack.
I was trying to remember as much as I could.
4-1 at half time. But yeah, it is 2-2.
Go to
4 questions to go. Obviously now this season's League Cup is over.
Mm-hmm.
2 players hold the record this season for top scorer. Name one of them. In the League Cup this season, 2 players. Join at the top.
There's one that
Pow.
springs to my mind.
I don't really know. Rashford? Is Rashford one?
Correct.
Oh, it's so annoying. I was going to say James Balaguese.
I thought-
For a bonus question, can you name the other one? Just chuck a name out here. You probably won't get it. I don't think you'll get the other one.
Bang.
Mhm.
Haaland.
No.
I don't know the other one.
Yeah, I don't think you
Oh,
will.
I've got an idea. Can I have another guess?
Yeah.
Oh wait, is he guessed?
Yeah, he's got 2.
I don't know. Nketiah.
No, we only played 1 game.
Yeah, I know.
Matoma?
No, this person actually, they only got to the semi-finals. It's Che Adams with 5.
Fair enough.
Che Adams with 5. Rashford was originally credited with the goal yesterday, but it got chalked off to an own goal.
I saw a thing saying he might have claimed it. Like he was claiming it.
He was claiming it was his goal, then it was an own goal. On one
No, but he
website,
claimed it afterwards.
Well-
After the game, he's been trying to claim it.
well, it's last I checked, it's still an own goal,
I mean, that's
meaning
still a
there's
question.
2 top scorers. However, the question I'm now going to ask you: how many goals did they score?
How?
Bang.
5?
Correct.
I was going to say 5. That's going.
I can't lie. You did say it.
Did I say it?
I think you said it. I think you might have said it.
I don't think he did.
Okay, if you didn't, then fair enough.
I'll check it back and delete the question if I did say it.
No,
Yeah.
No,
you can't
It's
do that.
4-2.
God.
It's 4-2.
Man
How many
United
questions are left?
advantage.
2 questions.
I
2
think
questions
it's all
left.
still.
Which team has lost the most League Cup finals?
Pal,
Oh.
Chelsea.
Incorrect. Lost
Right.
the most finals.
I've got some answers.
You've got to have one answer.
Oh,
I think I just went in quite quickly there.
right. I'm just gonna. If I get this wrong, I'm happy. I'm happy. Spurs.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Despite us calling Spurs the bottlers, we have lost the most
Oh,
League
I
Cup
was gonna
finals.
say,
Arsenal have lost the most League Cup finals.
Yeah, fair enough.
Bugger.
Final question.
You're fine.
How many finals have Arsenal lost?
4.
Incorrect. And you
3.
didn't. I mean, you
Sorry.
didn't.
Guess again.
I mean, you didn't buzz.
Right, I'm
Bang.
thinking.
3.
You already answered. Like,
I'm thinking, right. League Cup started in about 1960s, 61.
started 50s, 60s. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for 7. PAL 7.
Nearly. It's 6. Arsenal have lost 6 League Cup finals. We've only won 2. If we'd won every final we'd beaten, we'd only be one off the record
Yeah.
holders. But yeah, it's funny. I'm pretty sure we probably have the record for most FA Cup finals lost as well because we've been in the most. But Jordan
I'll
has
take that.
won.
I will
Do you wanna-
take it.
Did you win by 2 as well? Which
Yeah.
means that question I maybe gave you doesn't really matter. So
What was there a bonus question?
there wasn't. There wasn't because I thought I hedged my bets on it being decided by 10.
Brilliant.
I was hoping it would be decided by 10. There isn't a bonus question, and yeah, it's 4-2 in the end. Jordan wins. He collects the dub, his first
Yeah.
dub in a while,
Yes.
and here we have it.
I'll take it.
And I think that rounds up the episode, does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we've enjoyed ourselves, and you'll catch us next week talking more football. That's it, the football in question. See you next week.
Don't forget, we are the Football in Question on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook.
And we are TFU_podcast on Twitter.
And finally, we are TFQ Podcast on TikTok and Instagram.